Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Lynne. And, first of all, I'm going to say that I am going against what I was told to do in this episode because, you know, one of my kids is very techie. He is very like social media savvy. And he was like, you're going to make sure that you are protecting your brand and you're having amazing people on your show. And, you know, he's a young adult, like early 20s. So his idea of like incredible people all have to have followings of like 75,000 people, right? But I recognize that some of the most amazing people that I know are my everyday women that I'm in contact with, watching them grow spiritually, watching them go through things that aren't so great but yet come out smelling like roses. Like, I mean, I have some amazing mentees and friends that I get to be on this show. And so I promise you that as episodes go on, I will bring on like the powerhouse people. I've got Jane Hammond lined up. I've got Laura Aldred, from the Million Women. I've got Mo. If you know music, she is like amazing. So I have amazing people coming up. But this is February. And it's my birthday month. I still got my balloon up there. And on my birthday month, I feel like I should be allowed to do whatever I want. And I want to talk to people that I just know that I can be my crazy, silly self and they'll love me regardless. And I'm thinking most of you who actually do watch my show kind of feel the same way. So you'll be okay with it. So today I'm bringing on three ladies that I have watched grow spiritually. Like, I mean, um, when I met these women, let's just say I wasn't sure what the Lord was going to be able to do. Just teasing, just teasing. No, but I watched them grow over the last, I'm going to say 10 years or so. Like they'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I've watched them for a while and they have just been solid. They've gone through some stuff, but they've never let the stuff keep them from pursuing God's best for them. And so I am so excited to welcome today on this episode, Jamie Raton, Marisha Hitch, and Bethany Thomas. So as they come on stage, guys, I need you to really like, however you would do it, like just when you see them, if you know them, really give them kudos because not one of them ever want to be on camera. And I'm kind of twisting arms here, so you got to help me out. But as they come on, I'm so excited. Three of
Hi.
my girls,
Hey.
Hello.
guys, you're on my show. Thank
Yay.
you. I
Well,
know
I'm
that this
glad to
isn't
be
something that
here.
you love necessarily. Um, but one of the things I tell you guys all the time, right, is my job is to stretch you.
Let's do
So
It
that.
is.
we're doing all the stretching, all the stretching. Okay. I think this is
Yes.
the year of, well, the theme that the Lord has given me for the year is take your mountain. And so you can't take your mountain without doing some work, right? A mountain climber has to train for that. So
Yeah.
I'm just helping you guys out a little bit in the spirit. But so um, one of the things that I love to do on my show when I bring people on is I like to find out something about them that I don't know. So like you can't share something that everybody knows about. Well, other people can know, but something I don't know about. And we're just gonna be hot, like I talk about, honest, open, and transparent. But this is not going to be like spiritual. This is just something funny, something you did as a kid, whatever. Just so, and I did not prep them, guys. I did not let them
This
know they
is
were going to do this.
No, she did
So
not.
as
no,
they are sitting there trying to figure out what they're going to say, just love on them for just a little bit longer. So, all right. Do I need to put up a 30-second countdown or something? Like you guys gonna be ready to do
Yeah,
this?
I got
Oh,
something.
oh, Bethany's ready. Okay, Bethany.
So this is just something about me. If you've seen me, you know I love tattoos.
Mhm.
So I got my very first one when I was 15, and it was of Tasmanian devil.
You have a Tasmanian devil tattoo.
I got it covered up, and I'm not happy with it. It looks like an ugly flower.
Okay. Okay.
So
First of all, let's just be real talk here. Were you sober when you got a Tasmanian
that
tattoo?
was the point. My mom thought I was getting a butterfly. She's like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be like this." I was like, "No." Tasmanian devil was like this big.
Well, you were sober.
Yeah.
You actually did it on purpose.
Yeah. Mhm.
See, this is the reason why there's some things. Okay, there's a reason why there's some things you should not do before your frontal lobe is actually fully developed, guys. Wait until after you're 25. Tasmanian devil. Okay, so you have the had the Tasmanian
Right.
devil. Where was this Tasmanian devil? Like, can you share that? Where
Oh
was it
yeah,
at?
it was just on my right ankle.
On your right ankle. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So, and now it's a flower that you think is very
Well,
ugly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does not look good.
You do know the next time I see you in person,
I know you're
I'm
gonna
going to
hold
ask to
me.
see it, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that you recognize that, and I don't want any
Yeah.
lip when I ask you to see the Tasmanian devil. Okay, who's next? Come on. Who can beat the tattoo of Tasmanian devil?
Uh,
I don't know. I
Go
can
ahead,
do that.
Marsha. Right.
I don't know that I can do that.
Oh, come on, guys.
Don't know about me. Well,
Yeah,
I've always wanted a motorcycle
you've always wanted a
secretly.
motorcycle?
Like
I have a
I've always
motorcycle.
wanted to be a biker girl.
You
Secretly, I
can
wanted to
go
be a
Oh
with
my
biker girl.
me.
gosh.
Secretly,
I'll teach
You
you.
like real biker girl.
like the real deal.
Like
You wanted to be a biker girl.
like real deal.
Oh
Like I
my
want leather
gosh.
pants and a jacket and all the
Like
things. Secretly,
the whole thing.
my
You wanted to do
husband
the
was
whole
like
thing.
the whole shebang. Yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh. I
secretly
Like the
yeah.
actually
biker boys.
did you ever like dress up like that just for a moment just to see what you look like?
I Okay, so I have a few pair of leather pants. So yeah, I mean I went halfway there, but it's never.
You,
My
okay.
goal is to get motorcycle training. I am going to do
Okay.
that. I scheduled it
So
2 years
you
ago and didn't go. So
but
I
you
do.
have jumped out of an airplane.
I have two.
You both
Listen,
have. And you know what? And I'm
I,
kind of a little
I
bit
went
jealous.
past that. I went past it.
I'm kind of jealous because like that was the one thing, the only thing that I asked my husband for my 50th birthday last year was to jump out of an airplane.
Really?
That was the only thing. I didn't want a birthday party. I didn't want any of that kind of stuff. I just said, let me skydive. And he said, the Bible says not to test God. Like literally, that was
It's
his
very true.
response. He says, don't, the Bible says not to test God unless it's about tithing. So he would not let me do it.
It's very freeing though.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
understand. It
I
is.
mean,
You do have to know you're going to meet your maker. You have to make a decision. Like, if I
listen,
meet him today, am I okay? Like, and I
listen.
was okay
I
with
love the
it.
Lord. I serve him daily. I mean, I am
Yep.
ready to meet my maker. However, I also know that I have too many prophetic words that
Hmm.
God's not going to take me until my job is done. So I'm not worried about it. But he was just like, you would
It's
think I
very
would have
true.
been the one
That's how
afraid.
I felt.
He was the one that wouldn't let me do it. Now, I'm going to be honest. I may have gotten up there and been like,
Mm.
not happening, not happening.
That's what
But I
happened.
was willing to try it. Okay, Jamie, you got to beat being wanting to be biker girl. And I want a photo of you. Just saying, Marisha, I need to see a photo of you as biker girl
When I get,
at some point.
oh, I
I
think
need
I'm
to
gonna
tap.
get it. I'm gonna go get the the
I need
training.
to see it. I need to see it. No, I want to see the photo of you, like when you were doing your thing. Okay, Jamie.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Well, Marisha, I teach how to ride, and I'm a biker girl, so I got you. But that's something I think you knew,
Listen, won't he do
Lynn.
it?
So I got you.
Listen.
But I'll roll up with the pink bike. So I was just thinking about all the traveling I've done,
Uh-huh.
and the coolest. Well, I don't know if it's cool. God saved me. At the top of the Eiffel Tower, lightning struck, and thought I was. Yeah, it was over. So that was probably the coolest thing that's ever happened with all my extravagant travels.
Coolest, scariest, you know.
Wow.
Scariest, coolest, yes.
So one, you've been to France.
Yeah, all over, yeah. Well, Italy, of course, and went to
France
Paris.
is one country I've never got a chance
Mm.
to go to yet. I
Ah,
have never been to France. Well, I mean,
same.
unless you count the French airport, that's
Mhm.
nowhere near Paris. But that's the closest I've been to Paris. I don't even think I've had a layover besides. I mean, I had a pretty decent layover there,
Mm,
but because the airport, at least at the time, is so far away from like Paris proper where you'd actually see something, there wasn't enough time for me to like drive into the city and get back.
it's not fair.
Um, so, and I don't think I've ever had a layover in Paris outside of that time. So you have been to a
Mm.
country I've never got to go to.
Well, that's a big
I
step.
I
it
am going to try not to be jealous.
was it was beautiful, but
I'm going to try not to be jealous. That was that was my daughter's. So funny story. When Naya turned 5 years old, Bill goes into her room and wakes her up her birthday morning. She was 5, you know, and that's like the first big birthday for your kids, right? They're
Mhm.
5. She was going to get to go to
Mhm.
kindergarten in the fall,
Yeah.
you know. And so he goes and he lays next to her and cuddles her and he goes, "Happy birthday, baby. What do you want for your birthday? You're 5 today." And she said, "I want to go to Paris."
oh,
She was 5.
Okay.
And she wanted to go to Paris. And so Bill was like, "Sure, sweetie. I can't take you to Paris today, but how about I take you to Paris for your 16th birthday?" And she was like, "Yeah." Now, Bill thought that, you know, she's 5. That's like 11 years from
Yeah.
then that she would forget every year on her birthday. Every year. She said the next year when she turned 6, "Only 10 more years till I go to Paris." Like every year she said, "Only that many years so I go to Paris." And so the year she turned 16 was a year that they were going through like some major stuff. Like it was like really bad. People were getting killed. It was just some riots and stuff going on. I don't remember because I really don't follow all that stuff. But it wasn't a good time to be in Paris. And so we missed that year and it just kept getting, yeah, and we never ended up making it.
Mhm.
You know, maybe that's what we should convince her to do for her honeymoon, go to
I was
Paris.
getting ready to say the exact
Ooh,
same thing.
There you
my
go.
niece just got
And now she
engaged
has a husband.
in
She'll have a
Paris.
husband to pay for it. There
Yeah,
you
but
go.
well,
Oh.
that's going to matter how much money for their honeymoon fund that gets raised. So, you know, all they've asked for their
Mm.
wedding
Okay.
is money for the house that they want to buy one day and money for their honeymoon. That's it.
Mhm.
So,
Smart.
you never
Okay.
know. Maybe we'll have them, you know. Okay. All right.
It's
Give some idea.
All right. So, today is February 13th. This is the weekend of Valentine's Day. That's when this is going to air, Jamie. Okay. Wow. She's like, girl doesn't know what the date is. So this
I
is
was
going to
like,
air on Valentine's Day weekend. So,
no, I just don't know what the day is. So I've
oh,
just thought like, whoa, I'm all that far off.
yeah. So this is going to air on February 13th and it will be Valentine's Day. You know,
Oh,
so
it's
I
Oh.
that.
just thought I thought something that we could talk about is the joys. Now, Bethany's married, Marisha's married, Jamie, you're on the hunt. I get it. So right now during this conversation, you can listen and learn for the future. Um, but I just have a question for you ladies because this is a struggle bus for me
Oh
with
Lord.
Valentine's Day. And this is your opportunity to help my marriage. You know, I've gotten to speak into your marriages before, but I need someone to kind of help my marriage because it seems like to me when Bill and I were dating, he didn't mind. Like I got, see, and I think the problem is my birthday is February 1st and Valentine's Day is just 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
later, 2 weeks later.
Right.
And when he was really trying to
Mm-hmm.
pursue
Yep.
me, like he bought me birthday gifts and then he bought me Valentine's Day gifts. And I recognized Christmas really wasn't that much earlier either. Um, Now it just seems like Valentine's Day gifts have kind of like
Mm.
they're not really happening. Um,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going out to, and honestly, I even do a marriage conference around Valentine's Day, and each year he's gotten sick,
Mm-hmm.
and not like the last two events, he hasn't even shown up for that because he's gotten sick. Okay, no joke. Can't make
How
this
dare
stuff
he
up,
get sick?
people.
He better
Can't
stay in
make
the
Right.
it.
house. He needs
I
to
mean,
quarantine
I
all this
literally
week.
we were doing a dinner dance and I literally had to have him on my phone and I was on the dance floor dancing with my husband on the phone, like weak, guys,
She
weak.
was. I can
I
attest to it.
mean,
She was.
made the best of it. And so when actual Valentine's Day rolled around, I literally bought myself Valentine's Day gifts and put them on the table so that I could wake up the next morning with Valentine's Day gifts. Is this just my story? Or like, are your husbands like not really great with the Valentine's Day thing? What is this?
So Brad has always been really good, whether it's a little
Mhm.
small thing of chocolate or like a new Starbucks cup. You know, I love Starbucks. Or a new purse or anything like that. He's always been really good about making sure that I have something.
Okay, so your husband is actually good at Valentine's Day. Okay, hey Marisha, is your husband good at Valentine's Day?
Mm. Okay, so
Yeah.
kind of what had happened was I'm not as good
Anytime
as
something
either.
starts with what had happened was, you know that means he's not. So just own it. Own
As
it.
good
He's
as it
not good.
either. So because we kind of just were like, we have a child and we had a Naya, it was like fun to do her. We would come up with all the stuff and get her a basket every year. And it was like,
These
what do you want
kids
to do for
still are
Valentine's? And I'm like,
holidays.
Mhm.
yeah, I'm home. I'm like, I'm good. We're gonna watch a movie and eat chocolate strawberries. Like I might go and get little stuff. I might make him a little basket or something every once in a while, but
No, but I'm
we
just
kind of
saying,
just
are
were
you the
like,
one doing the
it was
Valentine's
so
for him versus him doing it for you?
Mm.
yeah,
Be
we
honest.
kind of
I threw
yeah,
my husband under the
yeah.
bus.
I do.
I
I'm doing
threw
the
my husband
baskets. Yeah.
under the bus, ran over him, backed up, ran over him again. So like,
Pretty
don't leave me
much.
hanging. Pretty much.
Pretty
But
much.
do
I
you
have to
think
Yeah,
admit,
this?
pretty
Do you
much.
think this is like normal? Like most husbands are like suck at Valentine's Day.
I think after like a certain amount of time,
I
I think.
think
I don't think I want to talk to you anymore because clearly your husband does Valentine's Day. I need
she's
support,
like, did not help
emotional
us.
support right now.
I think what happens is it gets over time, it gets so
commercialized.
marketed out, it just becomes obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you have to make it something like I did realize last year I need to bring it back to something that makes it special for us. Like
Mm.
what could we do every time that makes it stick in his head for me like, oh, I do want to do that every year. Like that's that one thing we do. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do
Yeah.
something to make it it's a our thing that we do on that day, not necessarily
Mm.
Valentine, like it's not commercialized. Like I got to do
Mhm.
something that's it's
Aw,
just something
look
we
at
do.
you
Like so I got to find
adulting.
a tradition.
Aw, you're like adulting. I don't want to
And then
adult.
if it was my
I want
birthday
to be
though, you
spoiled.
know what I would tell him? I would tell
What?
him get all my birthday gifts and then half them. give me half on my birthday
Mhm.
and half on Valentine's Day, and you're
Mhm.
covered, sir. And then get a
'Cause you're
Valentine's card.
because
And
you're
just don't tell
born
me.
in January too, right? No, you're August. He
Mm-mm,
has
I'm
no
August.
I'm August.
excuse.
I said
You're an
I'm
August
saying
birthday.
no, because no, because guess what happens to me? Our anniversary and my birthday, 2 days apart.
Yeah.
Ah,
So what you do is
Ours
buy it
is
all for
4
my
days.
birthday and then half it, and don't tell me. Don't tell me. Just half it, and then you come out with the other half. Just
Well,
do it
first of all,
one
my
time.
husband knows
That
that
way
he
you don't
can't keep
forget.
a secret. He knows he can't keep a secret. Like, if he buys something too far in advance, he will give it to whoever. It's not just me. Like, we'll be somewhere and we'll buy a birthday gift or a Christmas gift for our kid, and I'll come home and he's giving it to them. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So that would never work for him specifically. But I love the
You
fact
just
that you're
well
so
then ask
adulting.
somebody to hold it for him that you find it.
Mm.
That
I
tell him to
love
give it
that
to one
you're
of your
so
friends and tell him to
adulting
hold
with
it.
this. But I don't want to adult.
So
I
you
I
know you're
want to
not
be
accountable. You know you can't hold it.
I want to be spoiled. Actually, I kind of feel like
I agree.
no matter what the
That I
holiday
agree with.
is,
That I very
I,
much
th-
agree with.
I think no matter what the holiday is, I should get a present. So like
Mhm.
St. Patrick's Day, here, sweetie. I'm not Irish, but green is my favorite color. I
Find a
think
reason.
I think every month, Happy Easter, honey. Like every month, I should be getting, I should be getting a present.
Happy
And
Friday. I mean,
Happy
oh,
There you
Friday.
go.
I read that
There you
I
go.
saw this meme one time and I thought this is perfect. It said, women are so easy to please. Just
mhm.
say nice things and treat them like princesses. Like,
Right.
say nice things to me
Yeah, that's very
and
true.
treat me like a princess and not a problem ever.
Mhm.
So, well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate that you are way more mature when it comes to this Valentine's thing than I am.
Hmm.
I did already,
I'm
put a
learning.
bug in his ear. It's just like, it's coming up. Just seeing if I need to buy myself
There's
something,
there's Jared.
you
You know
know,
that commercial called Jared?
bright and shiny things always. But I don't
What's
expect
that
bright and
commercial
shiny
again?
things. I don't expect bright and shiny things necessarily on Valentine's Day because my birthday is like 2 weeks before. Christmas is just like
Hmm
6 weeks before. So I get it. He can reserve that for Mother's Day. That's fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
As long as you
so
don't forget
so
that.
Jamie, thank you for being willing to sit through that conversation right there.
Oh,
But
that may
I
be
did
why I don't have a husband yet, because my dad to this day still drops off flowers and candy and a card on my front porch at my apartment.
Oh,
I know. So have Bill
Oh,
call my dad.
that's
I
so
know. We're
That's
so
lovely.
blessed.
sweet.
My
oh, that
dad,
Oh,
is
like,
so precious.
it probably feel, like,
I
why
love
are my
that.
kids single? But
Oh, but that is
that's
so sweet and
passionate.
isn't it?
thoughtful.
My dad is super thoughtful. Like, oh, I don't have Valentine, but
I love
isn't
it.
it sweet? So I
Yeah.
still have my pops. I'm blessed
Aw,
with it. My dad. He's old school. He's getting up there.
aw, that's
I know. Isn't
awesome.
that cute?
I
So
absolutely
even though I
love
don't
that.
have one, I have
That's
one.
cute.
You do.
I do.
That's
You
crazy.
do have a
I mean,
Valentine. You do.
that
Every
is
year.
so awesome.
Since we're it's so
Yeah, and
sweet.
people really don't get that. They really
No,
don't get that type of treatment. So,
No.
it's
so
true.
if you're just tuning in and watching this, we are just having a fun time talking about the joys of Valentine's Day and husbands who do celebrate it well, Bethany. Those who don't celebrate it so well, Marisha, but she's so adulting. And then me, who's just a spoiled brat. But I own it. I think that's the first thing about being whole and healed is just owning your stuff. And I own it. I know I'm
Yeah, I'm
spoiled.
still working on
You
this.
know,
Okay.
we talk about the love languages, the 5 love languages: physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, and quality time.
Oh,
Mhm.
All of
Again.
them. I
oh,
want them all.
me too.
I want them all, you know,
That
everything.
is very true.
I do. And
Mhm.
there are some things that fill my tank quicker and faster, but I want them all. And if I
Mhm.
don't have them all, I do feel a little slighted. So I don't see why I shouldn't get that. But anyway, but all right. So okay, so that was fun. Guys, the Women's Emerge conference is coming up soon.
Woo.
It's coming.
Do
Yes,
you remember last year's
Whoop,
conference?
whoop.
Mm.
for sure.
It was
We had
awesome.
a great time, didn't we?
That was awesome.
We did. We had a
Yeah.
blast.
We did.
When and
We
Chloe
did.
is coming back. She will be
Yay.
back with us.
Yay,
Um,
Chloe.
and so that always makes me excited. Anytime the two of us can like move in the spirit together, it's
Mhm.
amazing. Um, so what was some of your experience last year at the conference?
Well, I think one of my favorite things was the panel discussion on Saturday.
Clever.
Mhm.
I mean, Pastor
I think it
Barbara
was
was
Ah,
amazing.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
when
will never
she
forget what Pastor
listen,
Barbara said.
my daughter, who's
She was
now
probably
getting married,
mortified.
she was just like, that's my Nana. I am 85 years
Oh,
old and I still enjoy having sex. We were all like, go, mama,
Okay.
go,
Oh.
go, go.
Mhm.
And she was saying something, wasn't she? We were just like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, so that was awesome. And then, I mean, recovering from meniscus knee surgery. I had that in early November. So I was really worried if I was going to be able to make it or not. But,
Did
got
you
on
fly or did you drive down?
we drove, me, Jamie,
How
and Jody.
Mhm.
how many hours did you drive to be
Oh,
there?
wow.
I don't even
8.
remember.
I think
Eight
it was 8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So we drove down there and we
with
stayed.
a knee that just had surgery.
I still had my brace on
You
Mhm.
know,
and
I
drove
think
all the way
that's
down.
incredible because we make excuses to go to church on Sunday because it's raining or
Right.
cold. And you
Hmm.
took an 8-hour drive after surgery. Um,
Oof.
a round of applause.
Mhm. And she
Yes,
drove.
ma'am.
Yeah, I drove all the way down and all the way back.
Like you personally was the driver?
I
Yeah.
personally drove. Yeah.
She was.
And it was
Were you
my
even
right.
allowed to drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't in the straight brace anymore. I was in the flexible one. So
Did
yeah,
you
I
feel
was able to
safe,
drive.
Jamie?
Oh,
I was very comfortable in controlling the music, so
Yes. She was the
yeah,
DJ.
I made it, and I'm talking
Yeah.
to you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were shocked. That's how she was comfortable, so we didn't argue with her.
Hey,
I
whatever it
had the
takes.
most room, so
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
no, she drove. It was crazy.
that's awesome.
So anybody else, what was your favorite? Like, what was the thing that you enjoyed?
I had amazing time with my girls. Met new sisters in Christ. Just the overall, it was a little mini vacation. It was my first time to Atlanta. Fun
Hmm
hotel. Got to see all my favorite people from church and best friends with me. Got to see the city for the first time. But what really stuck out to me, of course, Chloe, was flowing in the spirit and
Mhm.
had Jody, our best friend, come up on stage. And
mhm.
I've never seen breakthrough like that happen. And still this day, just my best friend of 25 years, who's basically, family, and to see how that's still working in her, not to mention everything she spoke over me. I met my mentor that weekend. I mean, I could go on and on, but it
Yeah.
just was, something I'll never forget. Definitely, Jesus everywhere and
Yeah.
everything we did. So,
I think that's one of the things that I love the most about the ministry network that we're a part of, that
hmm
Emerge is under Reconciliation Ministries International, is all about um, the prophetic and allowing the Lord to move however he
Yeah.
wants to move. I've been to conferences where you can kind of tell everything is scripted, right? They do this and they do this. And,
Mm,
you can't run any type of event and not have some kind of plan. Like you have to have some kind of plan. But at the same
yeah.
time, it doesn't matter what session we leave room for Holy Spirit to do whatever he wants to do. And if it means we're going to worship longer than we planned, we're going to worship longer than we planned. If it means we're going to pray for each other and pray for people longer, we're going to do that. And it's powerful. It's powerful. How about you, Marisha?
I think I love the most is um it was the fellowship, like between um different people, like people you didn't know. It
Mhm.
meshed so good.
Yeah.
Um, I loved that it was almost like people linked up like they had known each other a long time.
Mhm.
Um, and that made it feel like this was a God thing. It
Yes.
wasn't
Yeah.
forced, it wasn't for show, it was a God thing. And just to see women showing up. And then I loved how the men were incorporated into that. The security
Yeah.
men stood, there was a moment when they all stood at the door and they lined both sides of the door. And as the women came in, they literally
Yeah.
cheered for every
Mhm.
woman that came in.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was the men doing that. And I just
Yeah.
thought that was so awesome for it to be um, it was like they were cheering us on for what we were doing, even though it wasn't their meeting or their event.
Right.
They were there to cheer us on,
And that
So I
was
I
the
love
host
that. That
church.
that was just to me
Hmm.
like,
That was the
yes,
host church. Like that was
yes,
not anything. So the Women's Emerge conference, the goal was for it to travel and be in different locations. Last year it was in Atlanta,
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
at Discover Life Church, and they just
Did it.
knocked it out of the park with just their
right,
service, how they
Mhm.
cared for everyone,
mm-hmm.
just their
Oh my
attention to
goodness,
detail. And you're right, the men came to serve the women.
Right.
And you don't often see that either.
that's
It's
what I
just
love.
like
Yeah,
you see women volunteers at women's
Mhm.
events. You may see a man or
mm-hmm,
two walking security or whatever, but the men really showed up
yep,
and supported the event and just was great. One funny thing happened. I found out afterwards. Um, I guess most of the men during the panel left the room. So, like, the men who were running sounds and videography, everything, they said everything and they left. So they're in the lobby and the pastor shows up and and he's like, "What are you guys doing out here? Aren't you supposed to be in there?" And one of the men told the pastor, his name was Roy Barrett, told him, "They're talking some real serious, like, women, like, private stuff. So we got out." I kind of think it may have been when Pastor Barbara stood up and said what she said. They were like, "I don't know where this is going, but I don't need to be in here for it." And they,
Right.
but yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
we
so it was
cheered you on,
awesome.
but we'll be out here. That's funny. I
Listen,
Right.
we
love
will
it.
make sure it all happens for you, but we ain't staying in there for all that. Yeah, so that was
Hmm.
hysterical. We thought that
I
was
did
just
also
great.
love how at there was a point where they called out the young generation and prayed for the younger
Yeah,
women, the
Mhm.
younger generation of women that they should. And I didn't realize how many young women were there, but that was a moment for me to see the next generation being
yeah,
prophesied to and prayed for. And there's that
yeah,
moment you look and you're like, oh, that's who's going next. When I'm older, that's
yeah.
who's up to bat if they're not already starting. It's just it was a
Yeah.
wonderful thing to see, to pour
And
into
that's what
them.
we're doing this
It
all
wasn't like
for.
we came and didn't forget them. It was
Yeah.
all of us.
And
Yeah,
that's what we do this for. It's like recognizing we can do all these types of things, but the whole goal is really to affect the lives of the young people,
yeah,
so they don't make the same mistakes that we made, that they don't go through the same traumas
Mhm.
that we went through, that they don't all the stuff, you
Right.
know, that
yeah,
where the word says one generation, speaking to the next. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one
Yes.
of my favorite. That actually probably was my favorite part,
Mm-hmm.
was watching
That was wonderful.
watching
Yeah.
that and watching them pray for each other and get prayed for. It was
Yeah.
just, it was so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And I remember getting an email from one of the young ladies, like it was like a couple months
Oh.
later, and she was
Mhm.
still thanking me for the experience. Um,
Oh.
That's
and yeah, it just, if we're not affecting the next generation, what's the point?
all right. What are we
Yeah.
doing?
You
Yeah.
know, what's the point?
That is very
So
true.
yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we have kind of missed in the church. We're starting to get a little bit better at it, but
Mm-hmm.
really making
Mm-hmm.
sure, no matter what church it is, no matter
Yeah.
what denomination is, that we are looking to see who's coming behind us versus being content. I'm
Yep.
getting my word, but if there's no young people in the church, you're
Mm-hmm.
missing something, you know?
Yeah.
If you're not speaking to that next generation, guess what? We're all going to die off. And if we haven't left a legacy, where's that church going to be in 50
Mm-hmm.
years, you know?
Right.
Um, so
Yeah. That's right.
Very true.
uh, awesome. So if you were going to leave the ladies with anything, like truth bombs, we've been talking about the Women's Emerge conference, dear to my heart. We're doing that March 27th um, through actually the 28th through 29th.
Mm-hmm.
The 27th is a members only event. So it's just like if you're not one of the people, you won't be in that one. What would you, as women now, looking back on your life, you know, what would you actually want to leave before you left this conversation? What is the one thing that you wish someone had told you and now has become like your mantra? Mine um, has been compare and compete, live and defeat. And I have watched how my life um, had been constantly in turmoil because I was always comparing myself to someone, um, always feeling like I had to compete with how good someone else was at something.
Mm.
And it was just,
Yeah.
you're always defeated because you can always find someone who's better at whatever you're trying to do.
Right.
So that's been my mantra: compare and compete, live and defeat. When I start feeling like I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
what would be the thing that you would want to leave um, people watching this video or listening to this in their cars? What would be the thing that you would want them to know?
I guess my thing would be is that people only post on social media what they want you to know, what
Mm,
they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I've had lots of times where I've been struggling, feeling, like I don't have a connection with any, women because I'm not at those parties. I'm not doing that. I'm not in that group, or, their marriage looks so perfect because that's what they have on their social media.
yeah.
Well, none of us post the bad stuff. We
You
only
will never see my bedroom on
mine
social
neither.
media because
Mine
that's where the mess is.
Mine neither, but I mean, I guess it's kind of similar to
Yeah.
yours,
Mhm.
because you can't compare yourself to anybody else because you don't know the struggles that they've went
Yeah.
through. You don't know the tests and trials they've been through. So focus on yourself, focus on your own marriage, because
Marriage is a passion of yours, isn't it?
it absolutely is. I mean, like we've been married almost 21 years, and no, our marriage has not been perfect, but we have fought to be where we are. We've done the work. And I can say these last 3 years of marriage,
Mhm.
or yeah, 3.5 to 4 years of marriage, is probably
Mhm.
the best communication, the best really
Mm.
considering each other,
Mhm.
rather than just doing what we think they would like.
Mhm.
But our marriage has done a 180.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's after like 16, 17 years of marriage where you thought you would have known each other by then.
Yeah.
But
I love what you were saying about social media. I tend to, I joke and call Facebook fake book all the time.
Mm.
right.
Fake book, because you are only putting out there what you want people to see. Um, and so it may be a snapshot of someone's life, but it's not their whole life. And
Right.
so recognizing that, don't judge your life based on someone's highlights, because they're not showing their
Yeah,
lowlights,
that's
right?
good.
That's good.
That's really good.
How
Yeah.
about you, Jamie? What would be the thing that you like? This is what I try to focus my life on so that I'm not crazy.
Yeah. I am crazy, but that's okay. I have Jesus. No. Honestly,
Well, crazy loves crazy, so that's why
yeah,
we
I
get
know.
along.
Oh, that was a great intro, by the way.
We're praying
So
Jesus. There you go.
something I know. So being single, it is recently come to basically my relationship with Jesus is so important that my identity and what I'm learning and what I'm studying in Him, and when I surround myself with women like you guys and family, I just that's enough. I've really put
Mm,
so much more emphasis on that relationship, women in Christ versus trying to find a man who is.
mm,
Um, and I have found my passion in life, my ministry in life with a new job that took lots of seeking and counsel and just, you know, just digging in and knowing that I know what I know in God and where He's leading me and just taking a hold of that finally.
yeah.
It's
I,
just you
I
you
think what you just said there is so important, because so often the singles that I talk to are so focused on finding that guy, that
Right.
man, and the focus is so there that they're missing the richness of the other things that they have,
yeah,
um, and
Yeah.
putting that in perspective
yeah.
is a beautiful thing. I think that might be a great episode that I'll do in the future, just a bunch of single ladies, and just like, how do
Mhm.
you navigate being single, um, and not just being single, but being okay and emotionally healthy and single,
Right.
being able to find
Hmm.
your joy in
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Still want him. But
I'm not
it
saying he
doesn't it
ain't out
doesn't
there.
drive
Not
me it
saying
doesn't
that you
drive
don't
me
want him,
insane anymore.
but you're willing to,
Uh,
but you're saying Jesus first and that will
oh,
come.
yeah. Family,
Right.
friends,
That's right. That's
awesome
right.
pastors. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Marisha? What is your mantra, the motto you want people to know?
I think probably like in the last year and a half, it really came down to being your authentic self. I
Mm,
realized how I was not free because I was not being my full authentic self. And now I'm
yeah.
just telling everybody, be yourself. Like,
Hmm.
except, and part of that was not just other people not, that was me not accepting the full version of myself.
Yeah.
So I I thought of it like half of me. I like the good side I can show everybody. I don't mess up. I can do all these things I can do, and then the failures, and I'm not good at that, and I don't know what that is, and all that. No, I'm gonna hide that side. And
Mhm.
um I would say be your most authentic self, good and
That's
bad.
good.
Because once I had a moment after I jumped out of that plane, I remember it felt like it was on something had just clicked, and a lot of things broke fear off. But one of the
Hmm.
things I was going for a walk in the holy, and the Lord said something to me. He said, "Now are you ready to love all of yourself?" And I was like,
Ooh.
"Huh?"
Wow.
He was like, "Are you ready to
Wow.
love the other side of yourself that you don't want anybody to see? You're not loving it. It's not." He said, "I already love it. You don't."
Wow.
And I was
That's
like,
good.
"Oh, that side I think nobody wants, that nobody." And I was
Wow.
just like, "Oh, okay." And suddenly I was like, "Oh, when somebody would ask me something, I could say, no, I really don't know. And that's okay.
Wow. That
Or
is
no,
so
I wasn't
good.
good at that. or I failed at that. And when I started saying what the other part was, I wasn't perfect. I had bad things, or,
Mhm.
trauma happened to me. All these things that I thought that side nobody would love. It was like I
Mhm.
saw all of myself. And so
Wow.
suddenly I was like, oh, okay. And I would tell everybody, love every last bit of yourself, the good, the bad, all of it. And the one thing
Yeah.
I learned is the people who love me didn't change suddenly because I was saying, oh, I'm not good at that, or I figured. I was like, oh,
You
they
find
still
the
love me.
people who really
Oh,
love
they love
you.
me. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like, look at that.
You do. You
And that
find
was
the people
crazy
who
to
really
me.
love
It
you
really
when you're
was.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the people that really loved me didn't leave. That was eye
Right.
opening because I had convinced myself they only loved me for the good side. And when the Lord let
Mm,
it see, you weren't
that's
accepting
the
yourself,
freedom.
all of yourself. So be yourself free. Like free is like, no, I don't know it. Nope. I fell. Sure did. Bust my face wide open. And I'm back up again. That's okay.
That right
And
there is
I'm
freedom.
pouring that into my daughter right now and everybody I know.
Mm,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, that's like
Yes.
be your authentic self. That is
Mhm.
I I don't know what is more
Authentic.
freeing when you learn to love yourself.
Mhm.
We give
Yeah.
others so much, but oftentimes we
Yeah.
don't give that same to ourselves. That's really good stuff.
Right.
Really appreciate it. Guys,
There's
thank
an
you so
episode for
much.
you right there.
Thank you so much for being on this episode. You guys were awesome. I know when I asked you to do it, you guys were like, but you did awesome. You were great. I appreciate it. And I'll probably have you guys back on. Maybe you may see yourself back on this show at some point. So just
No choice.
when you get the text or the email, just smile and be like, okay, Jesus, another assignment. All right. But thank you guys so much. Look
Thanks for
forward to
having
more
us.
Thanks for
time.
having me. It was a joy to talk to you.
You too. Bye
Bye,
bye,
Absolutely.
guys.
ladies.
Love
Bye.
Wow. That was such a great conversation. You know, don't compare yourself to others. Don't get caught up in fake book and thinking that other people's social media is the real deal. Be your authentic self. Learn to love yourself enough and be happy with who you are, that God loves you so much, that Jesus wants to be your first love. He wants to be your husband. He wants to be the one that you're looking to. That was all amazing. I really enjoyed that conversation. I got some things to help my heart, and it's always great to laugh with friends. Listen, if you enjoy what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe, help me get the word out. I'm loving doing these conversations, and I know they're blessing people. I get feedback and emails. Um, RMI Women's Emerge at gmail.com. Let me hear what you're thinking about it. Any questions or ideas that you would love to have on the show? We would love to hear it. And let me tell you, I don't know what you're going through if you've not been able to be your authentic self. The Lord knew you before you were in this world. He already knew you. He knitted you in your mother's womb, and he has a destiny and a plan for your life. And it doesn't matter what traumas, what situations you've gone through. He has a hope for your life. I'm so happy that you joined us and you're being a part of this program. And once again, our conference is coming up in March, the 27th and 28th. If you haven't registered, get registered. You can go to women'semerge.com and register. It's going to be a powerful weekend full of love, prayer, acceptance, and just a lot of fun. You want to be a part of that. And until the next time, keep smiling.